마태복음 25장 14절 30절.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30.
마태복음 25장 14절에서 30절까지 말씀.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30.
우리 같이 읽어보겠습니다.
And let's read it together.
14절부터 30절까지 같이 있습니다.
From verse 14
또
to 30.
어떤 사람이 한 사람이 2달란트, 한 사람이 3달란트를 주고 5달란트 받은 자, 또 5달란트를 주고 2달란트 받은 자로 4명 감당하시고
So the title is Fulfilling of Duties and Blessing.
하나님은 많은 것을 맡깁니다.
So God has entrusted many things to us.
건강, 재산, 직분도 전부 하나님이 맡깁니다.
Health, wealth, even our possessions are entrusted to us by God.
그러므로 맡은 자들과 그 충성이라.
So therefore, 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2 states, Now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove
고린도
faithful.
4장 2절에 그렇게 말하죠.
And this is what is written in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2.
그것은 우리의 생명과 활동력은 관계했기 때문에.
This is because our life and energy are limited.
여러분이 건강도 하나님 주시고
So our health is also given to us by God.
재산도 하나님 주시고
And our wealth is also given to us by God.
여러분 직분도 하나님 주시고
And our positions are entrusted to us by God.
그래서 여러분이 직분 이런 모든 것을 하나님 주셨다고 할 때 그게 사실이에요.
So when it comes to the point that like our positions and everything is given to us by God, then all these things are related to commissions. But some people say that, oh, it is not God, but it is the pastor who gave me this kind of position.
아무렇게나
And that's why they consider their position in a like random way.
해도 되고 안 해도 되고
And they said, oh, this is something that I can just do or I don't have to do.
그렇잖아요. 하나님이 줬다 생각하면 그렇게 한 거 아니에요.
But if you consider that this is something that God has given to you, then you cannot really consider your position or such a thing in a random way.
여러분이 요업이 그랬잖아요. 재산이 다 자기 나라에 있을 때 주신 자도 여호와시고 취하신 자도 여호와시다.
So this is what Job confessed when his possession was like taken away, and he says that it is God who gives me this kind of positions, and then this is God who took all the things from me.
성경을 위해서요. 모든 것 다 준비해서 하나님께 드리려고 보라니까. 하나님이 주신 것 드려서 봅니다.
And then David also confessed like this, like after he gathered all the things to construct the church building, the temple, and then he confessed that everything that God has given to me, I have just like given it back to God.
자, 여러분이 정말 복음을 갖고 있다면 여러분의 사명, 만약에 여러분 하는 일을 진짜 하나님의 사명을 깨닫고 그러면 여러분이 복음 없는 사람은 사명 감당해요. 그건 별 의미 없는데 정말 복음 가진 사람이 사명 감당하면 여러분이 굉장히 그 일을 통해서 여러분 맡은 일을 통해서 많은 사람을 살리고 또 거기서 굉장히 하나님의 역사를 해줍니다.
So if you just carry out your commission without having the gospel, then actually it doesn't really have much meaning. But if you really possess the gospel, and then if you really carry out the mission that God has given to you, then you can really save many people, and then you can do the great thing of God. Why? Because the gospel is about saving people, reviving people.
그러니까 우리는 정말로 하나님께 이 시대에 여러분이 복음을 우리를 회복하고 우리가 누리고 또 다른 사람이 전달해야 돼.
And that's why we must restore the gospel and then enjoy this, and then you have to relate to others.
그러니까 여러분을 만난 사람이 정말로 여러분이 맡은 파트의 사람이 여러분이 복음가진 사람이 맞다면 정말 축복이에요.
So, for example, like the people that you meet or the people who are in the department that you are interested in, and if you are the one who really has this gospel, then those people whom you meet, they are really blessed ones.
왜냐? 복음은 살려주기 때문에.
Why? Because the gospel is about reviving and saving people.
복음은 문제를 해결해.
Because the gospel solves the problem.
복음은 치유해.
The gospel restores and then heals the people.
여러분이 복음을 정말 가지고 정말 누리는 사람 받고 전달해서 받다면 여러분 만난 사람 축복.
And that's why if you are the ones who really possess this gospel and enjoys and relates to others, then the people that you meet, they are really blessed ones.
그래서 여러분이 먼저 무슨 직분이든 뭘 하기 전에요. 내가 먼저 복음을 전해가야 돼.
And that's why before, like what you just do something, you really have to confirm and then check yourself that whether you really possess this gospel or not.
그래서 우리는 복음을 딱 요약하면 이렇게 그리스도 하나님 나라.
So if you summarize the gospel, then you can say like this: it is about Christ, God's kingdom, and the filling of the Holy Spirit.
여러분이 그리스도가 모든 문제 해결한 하나님의 방법.
So that Christ is the method of God who solves all the problems.
그러면 여러분이 진짜 복음 갖고 있으면 복음 누리면 그게 하나님 나라.
And if that is so, if you really possess the gospel and then enjoy the gospel, then wherever you may go, the kingdom of God will be coming upon there.
그러면 여러분에게 하나님께서 일단 여러분이 수준이 있던도 상관없습니다. 하나님께서 능력 주셔가지고 증인되기 때문에.
So it doesn't really matter like what kind of level you may have, because God will give you the kind of level or the strength so that you will become a witness.
그러니까 어떤 사람도 이 세 가지를 딱 하고 싶구나.
And that's why, like any person, if they really have these three things, then things will be over.
그래서 내가 여러분 이거 어디가도 전달하기 위해서 내가 여러분에게 복음을 돕혀요.
So in order to relay this gospel to you, that's why I always explain to you about the gospel chart.
그렇죠. 우리가 이 복음을 제대로 이해시키기 위해서 배경 두 가지를.
And in order to understand about the gospel, we have to understand about the two backgrounds.
그 첫째가 하나님의 창조와 통치를.
So the first one is about the principle of God's creation and His reign.
우리는 그냥 하나님 창조했다 이렇게 하는 그게 아니고요. 하나님은 보이지 않는 영적 세계와 보이는 유실.
And we say that, oh, God just created all the things. But many people, they just consider like this, but actually that's not it. God created invisible spiritual world and then visible physical world.
그러니까 여러분이 떠가지고 정말로 하나님이 인간과 하나님의 올바른 관계를 바로 깨닫고.
And that's why with this, we really have to understand about the correct relationship between God and man.
그러면 왜 때문에 우리가 이걸 놓쳐가지고 하나님의 능력이 가고는 사람들이 그건 타락돼요.
If that is so, then what is the reason that people are losing hold of this and then they say that, oh, God does exist or not or something? And the reason is because this world has become fallen.
사단이 통치하는 이 세상.
And this world is reigned by Satan.
거기 노예가 된 인간.
The mankind, they have
그래서
become
12가지
slaves
인생 문제.
by this Satan. And that's why the 12 life problems, they have no choice but to come.
그게 이미 태어날 때부터
And ever since you are all born, like things were like this.
그러니까 여러분이 계속 문제가 12가지가 각인 뿌리시지.
And that's why these 12 life problems, they have become our imprint to nature.
이거 알아야 돼요.
So we have to know about this.
그래야 우리가 오직 예수 그리스도로만 회복되는 하나님입니다.
And number 2 is about the God's kingdom restored through only Jesus Christ.
그렇죠? 이 복음이
And when you know about these two things, then we can imprint this gospel.
그러니까 바울은 하나님 나라를 전파하고 주 예수에 관한 모든 가르쳐.
So if you look at Acts chapter 28 verse 31, it says like this. Paul, he taught and proclaimed about the kingdom of God. And he taught everything of Jesus Christ.
예수의 모든 것 그리스도의 십자가.
And what is everything of Jesus Christ? It is the cross of Christ.
예수의 부활.
And second is the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
예수의 승천.
And number 3, the ascension of Christ.
예수의 재림.
And the second coming of Jesus Christ.
네, 이 부분이 이 사람이 신앙이 되는 거예요.
So all these things have become the faith of you.
그래서 이걸 제대로 맞춘다면 이 사람 올바른 복음을.
So once you really relay this gospel correctly to people, then those people, they can possess the correct
이
faith.
부분을 각인 뿌리치고.
So you have to make this gospel as your imprint to nature.
그렇죠. 그러면 또 다른 사람 전달을.
Then these people, they can relay this gospel to other people.
그 여러분이 이걸 가지고 여러분이 진짜 이거 전달을 하는 사람이 하나님이 여러분 주신 모든 이 달란트로 여러분이 직분을 제대로 감당하는 거고 사명한 거예요.
So those people who possess this gospel, when they really carry out their commission and their position in a correct way, that is what we call as carrying out the commission in a correct manner.
그래서 지금 계속 우리 전도자의 삶 62가지.
And these days we continuously mention about the 62 life of evangelist continuously.
62가지의 전도자 삶.
Yeah, the life of evangelist. The 62 points of life of evangelist.
삶의 본질인 21가지.
Then there are 21 fundamental themes of our life.
그래서 하나님 나라 생명 충만을 21가지로 이렇게 삶의 본질입니다.
So it is about the like Christ, kingdom of God, and the filling of the Holy Spirit. We have to make this as our fundamental or essential point.
자, 이게 참 능력이다.
And this is our true strength.
그리고 뭔가 5가지 기도예요.
And also we have 5 mysteries of prayer.
알죠?
You all know about this, right?
여러분이 이게 참 행복.
And this is our true happiness.
여러분이 감사를 행복하고 여러분이 정말로 이렇게 말씀을 묵상하고 하나님께 집중하고 여러분이 그렇게 하면 치유가 일어나고 여러분이 또 정말로 현장하고 하나님 말씀을 성취하고.
So if you really like give thanks to God for your salvation, then and if you really enjoy your salvation, then you can restore your thanksgiving, and then you can really see the work of God is really like fulfilled in your life. Then the healing can also take place.
그리고 우리 9가지 포인트.
And then there are 9 points.
이게 뭡니까? 참 성공이다.
And what are they? And it is about a true success.
여러분 이게 뭐 되겠습니다. 어떤 뭘 복음도 그렇고 모든 정보를 볼 때 여러분이 높이 넓이 깊이.
And it is same for like everything, not only the gospel, but in terms of information as well. Like when you just look at something, you must be able to look at some width, height, and
특히 사람 관계한테요. 윗사람 아랫사람 옆에서.
and then especially when it comes to the like human relationship, you really have to consider about the people above you and the people around you and the people under you.
여러분이 일을 정말로 제대로 하려면 과거, 현재, 미래가.
And if you really want to carry out your work in a correct manner, then you have to consider about the 3 things: your past, present, and the future.
이래야 치우치지 않아.
And only then you will not really be leaned on to one side.
여러 기회 성령님도 제발.
And only you do so, only then can you really be guided by the Holy Spirit
그러면
in a
그야말로
correct manner.
9가지로 되면 9가지로 여러분 이렇게 딱 정말 이렇게 일이든 뭘 해가면 그야말로 만사예요.
So when you do your work with these 9 points, then you can really become prosperous.
그러면서 이제 우리가 7가지 얘기하는데 여러분이 제대로 달란트를 가지고 하나님 주신 것 찾고 그래서 하나님이 정말로 주신 나와 또 나의 현장 또 여러분이 내 것을 찾으면 여러분 서비스 받습니다.
And there are 7 points. And if you really find out your talent, and then if you really just find out something that God has given to you, then you can really reach to the spiritual summit.
그리고 20가지는 정말로 여러분이 유월서에 응답받으면 여러분이 그러니까 저 세상 세계복만
And then if you receive the, and if you also like receive the answers concerning to these 20 strategies, then you can also receive the answers of only and uniqueness, and then you can really evangelize whole world.
우리가 뭘 해도 62가지 삶을 가져야 돼.
So no matter what kind of thing we may do, you really have to have these 62 points in your life.
정말로 여러분이 렘넌트가 성공하려면 62가지.
So like if remnants, if you really want to have success in your life, then you have to have these 62 points in your life.
자, 그러면 오늘 사명에 대한 얘기인데요. 특히 여러분이 지금 여러 가지 직분에 대한 얘기 많이 나옵니다.
And today's message is about duties or like commissions, and especially it says many things about our positions.
하나님이 주신 사명에 여러 가지 모양으로 그런 직분을 교회하는 직분을 여러 가지 직분을 이렇게 많이 갖고 교회에서 봉사하는.
And then number 1, it is about the God's given commission. And then if you look at the church, then there are many different people who have positions.
하나님이 주신 사명.
Number 1, God's given commission.
오늘 직분에 대한 얘기입니다.
And today we can see some message about our positions.
자, 교회는 목사도 있고
And in the church there
장로도 있고
are some pastors and there is elder
또 집사,
and deacon.
찬양대,
Choir,
교사,
teacher,
재정부원,
finance committee member,
사무원,
clerk,
사찰,
groundkeeper,
또 전도자,
evangelist,
복음 전파를 도우는 자.
those who help the evangelist.
자, 일단 이 교재는 되게 10가지 분을 정하고
Yeah, in our material it says about 10 different positions.
교회 안에는 이런 10분이
And inside of the church we have this kind of various positions.
교회도 이렇게 조직이다 보니까 있잖아요. 뭔가 섬기는 일이 지고 있어요.
So church is also a type of organization. That's why we need some positions so that people can serve others.
여기 보면 이제 항종직 해가지고 평생 이제 가져가는 거죠.
And among these positions, there are some like lifelong positions, and that it means that once they have this position, then they have this position until the end of
임시직
their life.
해가지고 이렇게 1년다리로
And also we have some temporary like positions. That's why they have this kind of positions like a year long.
어쨌든 이런 모양으로 이렇게 교회는 많은 직분을 이렇게 임명하고 또 그 직분을 통해서 교회를 봉사가 섬기죠.
But anyways, in a different like position, in a various like manners, there are many positions. There are many positions in the church, and then people they serve other people or church in a various ways.
우리 교회 안에 모든 직분은 섬기죠.
So all the positions in the church, it is about serving church and serving others.
어떤 사람은 이제 이 직분을 잘 입어가지고 무슨 자리 하나 얻으자고요. 자기는 그 자리 안 준다고 삐진다.
So some people they have misconception or they have like incorrect concept about the position. That's why actually they get some like angry or something because they don't really have the position from the church.
투표 떨어지면요. 왜 안 나와?
So if they don't really have like enough votes, then they are discouraged. That's why they stop coming to church.
큰 교회 가면요. 장로 되기가 억지로 없어요.
And if you go to big church, then it is really hard for you to become an elder there.
그래가지고 제일 얼굴을 알려야 되니까 주차요.
And that's why in order to become an elder, you have to be known by many people. And that's why those people who want to become an elder,
이제 다 보잖아요.
and they are working in a parking lot, like helping some people to park the car.
주차요 해가지고 얼굴 그래 이제
So if they do so,
표가 많이
then of course many people will recognize them. And then once they really like,
최대 이명박 대통령 부분이 그러더라고.
then once they try to become an elder,
소방도 장로에서 뭐였냐 주차요 됐다.
then once they try to become an elder, then of course like they will get many votes. And that's the case for our former president in Korea. He also went to become an elder, so he also worked as a kind of the helper who like helped people to park the car in the parking lot.
그러니까 사람들이 이 직분이라는 게요.
So to that extent, many people have the wrong concept about the position. They think that, oh, this is a kind of like high and good position or something.
절대 성경과 상관.
But this kind of thinking has nothing to do with the Bible.
그렇죠. 여러분 교회는 머리 대신 그리스도.
So when it comes to the church, then
그렇죠.
who is the head of the church? It is the Christ.
교회의 머리가 그리스도.
So the head of the church is Christ.
교회의 몸이 성도예요.
So the body of the church is church members.
그래서 교회는 한 몸이다.
And that's what the church is about, one body.
머리에 모든 지체 붙어요.
So all the parts of the body are attached to the head.
그래가지고 이 지체가 다 유기적으로 조직 연결돼가지고 한 몸을 이루고.
So all the parts of the body are connected, and that's why we have the body.
그 몸에 보면 여러분이 손, 발, 눈, 코, 귀 기능이 다 다릅니다.
And then if you look at the like body of your flesh, then of course we have different kinds of parts, like eyes, nose, and then like hands, and they have
근데
all
어느 뭐
different
하나
functions.
귀하지 않는 게
But of course, like everything is so precious.
그렇잖아. 여러분 손을 보시면
And what is going to happen if you don't really have your
눈이 안
hands?
없다.
Let's say that you don't have your one eye.
그러니까 몸의 부분에 하나도 귀하지 않는
Then what is going to happen? So it means that like all the parts of your body are all really precious and important.
몸의 모든 부분이 다 필요해요.
So all the parts of the body, they are needed for
그래서
sure.
어느 한 곳이 고장나면 온몸에 영향을.
So like if you have a small problem in one part of your body, then it affects to all of your body.
그래서 교회를 이 몸에 비유해요.
And that's why Jesus gave us the parable of
그렇죠.
the church to our
바울이
body.
고린도서 12장 12절에서 30절 보면 교회를 몸에
So if you look at 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 to 31, Paul, he gave a parable of a church.
그러니까 여러분이 이렇게 생각하면 모든 교회의 직분은 이 몸을 그렇죠 섬기는.
So he says that the church is like the body, and if you just think like this, and it means that all the positions in the body, it is like the positions to serve others or serve the church.
그래서 여러분이 서로가 어디 됩니까? 섬겨야 되기 때문에 서로를 사랑해.
And that's why, like everyone, they have to serve the other. That's why they have to love each other.
예수님께서 이렇게 말씀. 내가 너희를 사랑한 것처럼 너희도 서로 사랑하라.
And this is what Jesus said. As I love you, you also have to love each other.
여러분이 가장 성도의 사랑해야 되거든요. 교회 안에 있는 성도가 사랑.
And the ones that you have to love the most, it is your church members.
그렇죠.
You have to love the others in the church.
그 직분에 대한 이해를 받아요.
So that's why you have to have the correct understanding about your position.
그래서 여러분이 어떤 직분이든 반드시 선한 청지가 됩니다.
So no matter what kind of position you may have, you and we must become a good steward.
베드로전서 4장 10절.
If you look at 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10, and let's have a look at this together.
베드로전서 4장 10절 보면 각각 은사를 받은 대로 하나님의 여러 가지 은혜를 맡은 선한 청지같이 서로 봉사하라.
It says that each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others faithfully, administrating God's grace in its various forms.
하나님이 여러분이 맡기기 때문에 여러분 청지에 이제 선한 청지같이 서로 봉사하라.
So since God has entrusted you, and that's why you are the good steward, and it says that you have to serve others.
예, 그래서 여러분은 다른 게 아니라 여러분 주인이 아니다. 주인의 것을 맡아 관리하라.
And you are not the masters, but it says that we are ones entrusted to manage what belongs to the master.
이걸 보고 청지를 하는.
So we call this as the steward.
그렇죠. 여러분의 생명도 하나님이에요.
Even our lives belong to God.
아세요?
Can you understand?
생명도 하나님 것이다.
Even our lives belong to God.
이런 걸 좀 잘 알아요.
So you have to make sure about this first.
그렇잖아요. 욥처럼 주신 자도 여호와시고 취하시도 여호와.
And as Job confessed, it is God who gave us all these things, and then it is God who can take away all the things from
우리
you.
자녀를 내 자식을
When it comes to the children, we consider that, oh,
그게 벌써
children, they are
잘못된 거야.
ours. And actually, that thinking is incorrect. They are God's.
그렇죠.
They are not ours.
하나님이 내게 그냥 맡기고요.
And God has just entrusted them to me.
그렇잖아. 그 아이를 세상에 보내기 위해서 내게 맡긴 거예요.
And in order to send the child to me, and that's why God has entrusted the child to me.
그리고 여기요, 자식 다 죽어서 그래. 주실 때도 여호와시고 쳐야 돼요.
And that's why, like, after all the children died, John confessed like this: "It is God who gives to me, and then it is God who takes things away from me."
그러니까 우리는 단지 청지기로 받죠.
And that's why we are just God's steward.
맡은 자의 구할 것은 충성이다.
So it is the loyalty and faithfulness that God
얼마나 충성하냐? 죽도록 충성.
entrusted. And then, to what extent we have to have the loyalty? We really have to like be faithful and loyal to God to the extent that we will
이렇게
die.
하면 주일학교 교사라는 거 그렇게 여러분 가볍게 생각.
So if you think about this, then even though you are a like Sunday school teacher in the church, then you don't really have to like consider this position as a like light things.
오늘부터 여러분이 직분에 대한 생각을.
And from today, you really have to change your thinking about your position.
그렇잖아. 그거 안 바꾸면 분명히 그 사람은 축복 아니에요.
Because if you don't really change that kind of thinking, then there is no way for you to receive blessing
축복을
from God.
감당하고 축복받는다.
So you have to carry out your position in a correct manner.
그게
Then you have to
하나님이 나에게 맡긴
receive blessing.
사명인데 그 생각하고 무슨 잘못 생각.
And that is the commission that God entrusted to you, but you don't really consider like this, but you just try to like boast about your own position.
그리고 뭐 군림하라.
And that's why you just try to like rule over others.
무슨 군림할 때부터 교회 가서 군림하라.
And then actually like in the like world, you cannot just like rule over others or something, and that's why you
어디가
just come to
대접받고 교회
church.
가서 대접받아.
And then you just try to rule over others in the church, and you are not really treated well by others in the world, and that's why you just like come to church and you want it to be treated well by others.
무조건 여러분 모든 게 가지고 섬기는.
So no matter what kind of position you may have in the church, all the positions are about serving others.
우리는 청지기다.
So we are stewards of God.
주인이 따로 있다는 거예요.
So it means that the master is someone else.
주인이 우리 맡긴 거 그거 우리가 충성하는 거예요.
So something that the master has entrusted to us, we really have to be loyal and faithful to that.
자, 그래서 여기에 여러분 일단 사명과는 똑바로 직분에 대한 올바른 사명.
And that's why you have to have the correct commission in terms of your positions in the church.
그러면 어떻게 감당해야 되느냐?
Then, if that is so, how will we fulfill our commission?
이 사명 어떻게 감당해야 되느냐?
And how can we fulfill our commission?
이미 나왔습니다만은 달란트대로.
Do it according to our talent.
오늘 본문에 보니까 달란트이.
And if you look at today's scripture, it says about the talent.
여러분 달란트 뭐요?
What is the talent?
탤런트가 아니라 탤런트.
Talent.
그렇죠. 하나님이 여러분 모두에게 달란트를.
God has given to you the talent.
그렇죠. 어떤 사람은 5달란트, 어떤 사람은 2달란트, 어떤 사람은 1달란트.
God has given the talents to everyone. For some people, God has given like 5 talents, and for some people like 2, and for the others
그게
1.
비교하는 게 아니고, 그렇지 않아요?
And it is not about like comparison.
하나님은 비교하지 않아요. 준 거는 이 사람이 어떤 이 사람이 1달란트, 이 사람이 맞기 때문에 주고, 이 사람은 2달란트, 그러니까 2달 주지. 그게 무슨 비교하는 거예요?
God never really compares. And when God gave the 2 or like 5 talents to someone, because God just did it because God thought that it is really appropriate to this person, and that's why God has just given to like 5 or 2 or 1 talent. And it is not about comparison.
많이 줬으니까 많이 이렇게 중요하고 제기를 덜 중요한 그런 게 아니에요.
Oh, like this person has like more talents than others, and that's why this person is more important than others or something. It is not like that.
오늘 그 주인이 돌아와서 계산할 때는 그렇게 한 거예요. 이 사람이 남겼냐 안 그거 본 거예요.
So when if you look at this scripture, it says that when the master returned back, and at the time he didn't really consider about these kind of things. He says that he just thinks that how much these people
여러분
loved.
5달은 2달은 치지 못해 똑같이 치지.
And that's why like the master complimented on those people, on those like people who are entrusted like 5 talents and then 2 talents.
그렇죠. 그 칭찬한 내용과 똑같잖아.
And if you look at like how the master complimented on these people, actually it is all the same.
잘하였도다 착하고 충성된 종아. 내가 작은 데 충성하시면 내가 많은 걸 이렇게 맡게 되니 내 주인의 실력에 참여하시나.
And he says that his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's
다섯
wages."
달은 두 달은 똑같이.
What does that mean? It means that master complimented on those servants who are entrusted 5 and 2 talents.
그러니까 여러분 달란트가 비교하면 안 돼요.
So that's why you shouldn't really compare people by their own talents.
달란트는 주인 마음대로.
Because the talent is given to the people by masters.
그러니까 거기 안에 직분이 무슨 비교돼 그런 게 아니에요.
It is up to master. That's why inside of the church, you shouldn't really compare people's talents.
하나님 볼 때 이 사람은 여기 밖에 여기 막.
Because from God's perspective, like when God looks at people, He thinks that for
이
these
사람
people,
볼 때
this
여기는
much of
하나님이
talents is
막대기를
appropriate. That's why God gave this much talent.
그래서 거기 맞도록 딱 달란트.
And that's why, like according to the people, God just gave the proper and appropriate talent to them.
그래서 달란트가 달란트대로 해라.
And that's why it says that just do it according to our talent.
그렇죠. 우리 달란트 찾아줘야 돼요.
And that's why we really have to help others so that they can find out their own talent.
그래서 그걸 찾아서 그걸 가지고 하는 교회를 봉사해서 성이 쓰도록 이렇게 도와주는 것이 그게 우리가 해야 돼.
And we really have to help others so that they can find out their own talent. And then with the talent, the people they have to really serve others and serve the church. And that is
그래서
our work.
사사로운 뜻으로 하면 안 된다.
And that's why we will fail if done for personal reasons.
그럼 반드시 실패하고.
And if you just do it, then you will surely fail.
요한복음 12장 6절.
If you look at John chapter 12 verse 6,
요한복음 12장 6절에 보면 이렇게 말하면 가난한 자 생각이 아니고 그는 도둑이다. 돈깨를 맞고 거기 넣은 것을 훔쳐갑니다.
it says that he did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it.
그러니까 예수님이 제자들 중에 가르친다에게 그러니까 해결을 받게 돼요.
Among the disciples, Jesus entrusted Judas Iscariot the finance.
이거 뭐랄까 도둑이는 돈깨를 받고 거기 넣는 것을 훔쳐가.
But what did Jesus say? He says that he was a thief. As a keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it.
그런가요? 그 교회의 재적을 갖다가 맡겼더니 그걸 가지고 그야말로 주머니에
What does that mean? It means that the Judas Iscariot, he was entrusted the finance in the church, but actually he kind of stole the church finance and he just put it in his own pocket.
그렇죠. 여러분 뭐 교회 안에 이런 게 많이 나요. 행정사 우리가 뭐 제대로 말씀 안 했겠는데 큰 교회들은요 엄청나게 궁금하죠. 그러니까 그 돈을 뭐 행정했다 뭐 이런 지금 조용히 목사 행정이 지금 행정했다라도 지금 재판하고 있다.
So this kind of things happens a lot in the church, especially in the case of big churches. They have a lot of like finance or something, and that's why many people they steal like some like church finance or something. In terms of Pastor Paul Jo in Korea, from the really like one of the biggest church in Korea, and he is also in trouble right now because of the stealing money thing.
우리도 좀 생각을 해보자. 막 교회 그러니까 막 내가 이거 아무것도 막 그냥 와서 뭐 그렇잖아. 막 교회 그러니까 뭐 내 돈 안 되는 막 그냥 이렇게 좀 교회 그러니까 아무 때나 쓰고 아무렇게 그냥 이런 경우
And that's why you also have to think about this in a correct manner. And sometimes you think like this, oh, it is not mine. The church thing is not mine. And that's why sometimes you just misuse the church things in the church.
자기 것은 그렇게 하죠.
But if these things are yours, then you will not really just use or utilize them in a just random way.
아끼고 하는데 그게 그렇게 하면
And if these like stuffs or the like things are yours, then maybe you will save it and then you'll just try to like use it in a proper manner. But you just think that, oh, this is not mine, but this church things, that's why you just like use it in a random way.
목회자도 그렇고 또 중기자 그렇고 피고도
So in the case of pastors or church officers or just church members, they have to think about this issue a lot.
자기 개인을 위해서.
And it says about this, like for personal reasons.
자기 개인을 위해서 이렇게 하는 그렇죠.
And if you consider your position in the church and like for your own personal things, or for your own personal reasons.
공직인 사람도 그 공품을 갖다가 개인에서 보고 행정대 형사처벌 받아요.
So for example, like in the case of government officers, if they use like the money which belongs to the like government for their own personal things, then of course they'll be put into some like legal suit or something. They'll be punished.
꼭 돈 얘기만 그거 아니고요. 모든 직분을 자기 개인을 위해서 합니다.
But it is not only about the money, but when it comes to the positions and the work in the church, you shouldn't just do all
교회를
these things
섬기라고
for your own
맡기는
sake.
직분을 갖다가 자기 개인의 어떤 이유에서 비굴이 만나면 그건 실패하다.
Because the positions in the church, if you really misuse these positions for your own sake, for your own personal benefit, then you have no choice but to fail.
항상 하나님 앞에서 해라.
And that's why no matter what you do, you have to do it in front of God.
알죠?
Can you understand?
여러분 고람되어는 말이에요.
And there is a word, koramdeo.
하나님 앞에.
And it means is this, in front of God.
하나님 앞에.
So you shouldn't do things in front of people, but you have to do things in front of God.
사람 안 보면 사람 안 믿으면 사람 보고 딱.
So if you don't believe in God, then when you just look at the things around you, then you may think that, oh, there are no people here, so that's why I can just do these kind of things.
하나님 앞에서 하면 그 수밖에 없어요.
But if you will just do all the things in front of God, then there is nowhere for you to hide
하나님께서
yourself.
영광을 초월하시고 마음속까지 다 듣어보고 계신데 어디 피할 수 있어요?
Because like God is the one who transcends time and the space, and then He can even look at what you think in your heart, and that's why there is nowhere for you to avoid from Him.
여러분, 교육자도 그렇고요. 하나님.
So it is same for ministers and everyone. You really have to do all the things in front of God.
내가 가끔 그런 목사님이 해외 오시면 목사님 그거는 사람이니까요. 목사님 있으면 목사님 오시면 무슨 목사병 때문에 목사병이랍니다.
And sometimes I think like this. Maybe like some of church members think like this. Like, oh, our pastor is in overseas right now. He's not in Korea. That's why I don't really have to do this, or I can just do this or something. Then do you think you just do all the things in front of pastors, not in front of God? If you think like this, then nothing will work out.
하나님.
You have to do all the things in front of God.
아세요?
Can you understand?
그래서 고린도서 4장 2절에 맡은 자의 구할 것은 뭐라고요? 충성이.
And that's why if you look at 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2, what does it say?
모든 직분을 맡은 자는 충성한 거라.
And it says that like all the people who are entrusted in positions, they really have to have the faithfulness or loyalty.
그래, 충성 기준이 뭐냐?
Then what is the standard of having loyalty or faithfulness? It is this, like you have to really have the loyalty or like faithfulness to the extent that you will die.
그만큼 하나님 우리 맡긴 희한하다.
So you really have to just do this. You really have to like do all these things for the sake of God to the point that
그리고
you'll really
다른
grow yourself.
사람에게 은혜를 끼친다.
And then number 4, you have to be gracious to others.
베드로전서 5장 3절.
So if you look at 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 3,
베드로 5장 3절 볼까? 맡은 자들에게 주장하는 자들 하지 말고 양무리의 본이더라.
and if you look at 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 3, it says like this: not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock.
양무리의 본이더라.
It says that you have to be examples to the flock.
뭐한 가지면 다될 수 있는데요. 뭐 여러 가지 전화했어요. 근데 우리가 지금 오늘 좀 직분에 대한 얘기만 해요.
And that if one thing just takes place in the correct manner, then all of the things can also like, work well. But anyways, from today's message, it says a lot about the positions in the church.
반드시 주께서 계산하러 온다.
And then number 5, remember that the day will come when we must settle accounts with the Lord.
오늘 그 본문의 그
So today's scriptures tells us about this.
자, 그래서 우리가 뭐 이게 뭐또 오해 보면요, 다 직분 부담됐어.
So if you misunderstand this about the positions,
그래 내가
by any chance,
복음,
then you may have some burden, and that's why during the like introduction I mentioned about the gospel.
그렇죠. 하나님이 여러분이 직분을 줄 때는 그렇잖아. 감당할 수 있도록 하나님께서 능력도 주시다.
And then when God gives you the positions, then God also gives you the power and the strength so that you can carry out your position.
그러니까 제가 중지자가 되었잖아. 중지자의 구할 게 뭐야? 중지자에게 자격이지만 그 자격이 그렇잖아요. 성령 충만, 믿음 충만, 지혜 충만.
So like, when it comes to church officers, of course there are some like qualifications for them to become a church officer, but the most important thing is about this.
그 말은 하나님이 그 주겠다는 거다.
Like filling with the like faith and the filling of the Holy Spirit. And then what does that mean? It means that
그래서
God will also
모든
give you this kind of power
성령
and
충만
strength.
이렇게 돼야 돼.
And that's why all the church officers, they will have to pray so that God can give them the
믿음이
filling of the Holy
달라지게
Spirit.
되죠.
And they will have to pray to God so that God can fill them with the
지혜에
faith.
달라게 돼. 지혜 충만.
And they really have to pray to God so that God will give them wisdom.
내가 모든 성 칭찬받은 사람들에서 그렇게 돼야 돼.
And you also have to really pray so that you will be the ones who will be complimented by others.
자, 사명 위에 오는 축복.
And number 3, the blessings that follow our commission.
자, 이 사명이만큼 이 뒤에는 축복이 따라옵니다.
And then, as much as you carry out your commissions, the
오늘
blessings
21절에
also
보니까
follow.
주인의 즐거움에 참여한다.
And if you look at today's scripture, verse 21, it says this: "You will share the master's happiness."
25절 보니까 더 크고 많은 걸 위임하고.
And also it says that you'll be entrusted with greater and many things.
작은 일에 추수했다고요. 더 크고 더 많은 것을 위탁하고.
And if you are really like faithful to like small thing, then you will be entrusted with greater and many things.
요한계시록 2장 10절 보니까 생명의 멸관.
And if you look at Revelation chapter 2 verse 10, it says that the crown of life is prepared for us.
정말 충성한 자에게 생명 멸관 예배한다.
So those people who are really faithful and loyal, God prepared this crown of life.
생활의
And also you will receive blessings in your life.
그래서 여러분들이 복을 받기 위해서 아니라 하나님이 우리에게 맡겨준 직분을 내가 정말 이렇게 선한 청지기로 내가 정말 이렇게 충성하면 하나님이 우리에게 그렇죠? 여러분이 영육간을 보는
So it is not because to receive some like blessing, but if you really
많은 열매를 드는데요. 여러분이 보람도 되게 하고 하나님이 원하게 하고.
If you're really faithful of those things that you're entrusted by God, then of course God will give you a lot of fruits, and then you can also give all the glory to God later.
그래서 조금 이런 거 아니면 좀 포럼도 하고 좀 대화하시면 좋겠다.
And that is why it'd be really great if you can share your forum, and then if you can also have some conversations with others.
그런 시간
with
없지만
this.
여러분이 앞으로 좀 그림
Yeah, so
맡은 일 구할 게 뭐냐?
right now we don't really have much time, but later it'd be really great if you can also share your forum with others. So
그 충성 이렇게 해도 우리 충성 어떻게 충성이 기준이 뭔가 충성을
like
막
this kind
해야지.
of things can become a theme of your forum. Like this, like what is required of those who have been given a trust. Then what is
오늘
this
사명을
kind of
소홀히 한
trust?
장소이면 어떻게 해?
And then, like when you look at today's scripture, you can also think about this. What will the Lord do to those who have
악하고
really regard
게으른
for
종이라고
life?
말했고요.
And you just said that, oh, you are like evil and the lazy ones.
밖에 두세요.
And then later, like that, later the Jesus, the master, he kind of expelled him.
우리의 가진 모든 기쁨은 우리 것이 아니고 그럴 것이다.
And that all the things that we have, it is not ours, but it is what is belong to the Christ.
자, 그래서 지금 EBS 기초훈련 교재를 강의하는데요. 우리 해외로 전달이 되면서
So right now I'm just like giving a lecture based on the EBS basic training guide, and then it is also for our
이미 앞에 그 주일
our
오후에
overseas
제가
community
우리
workers.
따라오게 했는데 내가 금요일 날 하는 것이 여러분 가시는 게 좋겠다 싶어서 이렇게 오늘부터
And I have given the first 3 lectures already, and then the reason that I give this EBS lecture on Friday is because it would be really great for other people to listen to this message together. That's why.
한 가지 강의하고
So yeah, from today I'll just give a lecture based on this material one by one.
오늘 여러분이 정말로 내 직분이 하나님이 나에게 맡긴 사명이다.
So today you have to understand this. My position, this is something that God entrusted me as my commission.
여러분이 어떤 일을 하나님 맡기든 간에 그 일이 하나님 나에게 맡겼다고 생각해요.
So no matter what kind of work or what kind of thing or positions that God entrusted you, you really have to consider that this is something that God has entrusted me. And that's why the Bible tells us like this. Now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove faithful.
여러분이 작은 일에 충성하면 그렇잖아요. 하나님은 더 크고 많은 것을 맡깁니다.
So once you are really faithful in the small things, then God will entrust you with greater and then many things.
어떤 사람은 나는 이런 거 시시하지 않는다.
And some people say like this, like, oh, this kind of work or position, it is so like low level, so I'll not do this.
시시해서 안 하면 큰 거 뭐 하겠단 말이에요.
And if you consider this thing as a low level or small things, then like, do you think you can do the greater
작은
things?
것도 안 하는데 큰 거리.
Because if you cannot really just do the small thing, or if you don't do the small thing, then how can you be entrusted the greater and many things?
그 여러분이 무슨 일이든 좀 소명의식 가져요.
And that's why no matter what kind of work you may do, you really have to have this kind of mind of
시부란
commission.
사람은요 청소부터 시작해요.
And then the person named Shiver, he started
그렇죠.
his work from the
제부들도
cleaning.
자기 아들에게 넘기려면 이 아들이 어떻게 하면 제일 저 밑에 직원부터 시작하고.
And in the case of like conglomerates or something, and if they really want to raise up their children in a correct manner, then first of all, they entrust them to do the smallest thing.
그렇죠. 그런 과정을 시켜가지고 나중에 막.
And then they just like make their children to go through all this kind of small like things or something, and then later they entrust the big things. So like even like people, if they are really like smart or something, then they also do like that.
그렇죠. 용호사님 가끔 말해요. 당연한 것부터 해라.
So Pastor Yu says something like this, like
내가
sometimes he
주일날
says that.
들어왔다. 거기서부터
He
응답하고.
says that you have to do something which is rightful thing. And he says that if you are interested in Sunday school, then you have to receive the answer from there. And you really have to like see the work of God from there.
그러니까 우리가 당연한 거 해야 필요한 거 필요적 필요한 걸 보여주고 저등이 보여줘.
So you have to do something rightful. Only then can you really see something which is inevitable and then absolute.
예. 여러분 다 우리 안에 교회 안에 다 하나씩 여러분 다 맡고 있는 거죠, 그죠? 거기에 충실하시 바랍니다.
And there are some work or positions that you are entrusted in the church. So may you really be faithful in that.
하나님 감사합니다.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you.
정말 아무것도 무능한 정말 힘도 없고 능력도 없고 무능하고 가진 것도 없는 저희에게 복음을 맡기시니까
Like we are really powerless and we don't really have much background and the strength, but you have entrusted us this gospel. We truly thank you for this.
다빈조 또한 세계복음화는 큰 비전을 주시니까
And we truly thank you that you have given us the great vision of world internationalization through multi-ethnic. We truly thank you.
정말 이 교회를 섬길 수 있는 집 부시니까
And we truly thank you that you have given us the position so that we can serve the church.
작은 것이 아니라 하나님이 나에게 맡긴 일에 충성하게 하옵소서.
And not the small things, but the work that God you have entrusted to us. Let us really be faithful.
그래서 주님 계산할 때 정말 우리가 갑절을 남기고 충성된 종이라고 언제나 칭찬받은 종이 되게 했죠.
So later, like when you just kind of complimented us, and let us really be complimented, so that you are really faithful and then loyal.
그 이유가 많은 걸 맡겨도 감당할 수 있는 충성된 종이 되게 하옵소서.
And Father God, may us really like be the like faithful and the like loyal servants, so that God can really entrust the we
하나님께
as well.
감사드리며 주 예수 이름으로 기도드립니다.
We really give thanks to God in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray. Amen.
아멘.